Hello, Nigel here with you, Nigel's Modelling Bench, and I've got another review for you today. It's not this. If you remember, I did a review of this the other day and absolutely fell in love with it. Really pleased with the quality and such a lovely kit. And then I was looking around and I saw that Big Plane Kits had just released this. I don't think it's even available at Hannants yet, but it is available at other places. And I've got in touch with Big Planes Kits and said, "Do you see my review?" And he's put my review up on Facebook, on his Facebook page, so you can go and have a look on there. And then he offered to send me one of these, and I said, "No, that's okay, I've already ordered one, thank you." But he's sending me some other stuff, I believe. So we shall see. There could be more Big Plane Kits and Res Kit stuff appearing here soon. Watch this space. So this one here is in Royal Australian Air Force guise. This is the E7A Wedgetail. It's basically a shorter Boeing 737 than this one. This is a 737-800. I think this is a 700, is it? I'm not sure. Somebody will tell me in the comments. I expect Riley will say. So yeah, this is Big Plane Kits, item 7225, easy for you to say. Made in Ukraine, 1/72 scale, and as I say, it's the E7A Wedgetail. So look at that great big radar on the back of there. Beautiful looking thing. Uğur Colonel over on YouTube has done a video build of this, and it is a very beautiful looking model. I believe Uğur is Turkish, so he's done it in the Turkish livery. There's two versions in the box. You get Royal Australian Air Force, and you also get the Turkish one. There is also an option to do an RAF one and also an RAF Poseidon, and I believe I will have those decals here soon from Air Graphic that I can show you, and I'll have some resin coming from them as well, which I can show you. So hopefully that will be here soon and we can do a little look at those. So looking around the box as we usually do, we can see here we've got Big Planes Kits. So we've got Facebook is Big Planes Kits, bigplaneskits.com, and email is bigplaneskits@gmail.com. And the guy you speak to there is Alexi. So you can see here we've got version 1, which is the Turkish Air Force, June the 30th, 2022. And then here we've got the Royal Australian Air Force, Williamstown Air Base, June the 11th, 2018. So quite an old one. I believe they are bringing out a US Air Force guise. So if I get to the point where I've put decals on and they've released the US Air Force version, I might get in touch with Big Plane Kits to see if I can get the US Air Force. Yeah, so a lot of guys get quite concerned why I never do Australian colours. Generally what I like to do is I like to do the aircraft in the original country they came from. So like if I did a Saab, I would do it in Swedish livery. If I do a Spitfire, I'll do it in RAF, and vice versa, and you know, and so forth. I did the Vulcan with the Kiwi on the side, didn't I? So there's something. But obviously, if nothing comes out in the meantime, I will be doing this in the Royal Australian Air Force because it's got that lovely big logo on the front there. It's there, but it's not on the box art. So there we go. Yeah, that's a different number. On the box art, it's A30003, and this one is A30001, I think. Is that a 1 or a 3? It's tiny. Yes, that's a 1. So I need to get some new glasses, guys. So here we've got some information about the aircraft there. You can have a read should you want to pause. And then here you've got official Ukrainian distributor is ResKit and USNTCom.ua. And the box is the same artwork as the front. And here, oh, we've actually got 10 options. So we've only got Turkish and Australian, but we've got 10 different options to do. So we've got all these different arts on the nose. That's interesting, I didn't know that. 10 versions. I know the decal sheet is very nice, and when you see it, you're going to like it very much. Got an F-22 in the background there. So, as usual, just like the Poseidon, you can see everything is bagged up in one big bag, all nice and tightly wrapped up. So, unfortunately, it can get knocked about a bit, but fortunately, with it all being bagged up tight like this, like Mini Art does, then we should be good to go. Right, so let me get all this out of the way. Let's have a look what's in this bag. Now we've done that, we can get the light on. In fact, I'll go to the second set, and there we are. So we can open this bag. Paper seal so they can tell if you've opened it, I guess. So in here we've got our box of goodies. Very nice indeed. I've seen the review that Uber did of this, and there are a couple of more editions. It would appear that what's happening here is Big Plains kits tend to improve the kits as they go, so things just keep getting improved. So we've got a fuselage parts there. Very nice indeed. See, we've got windows in these windows cutters, and the way they do it, they give you a clear piece that sits in over there, so you don't have the holes in the fuselage. You have clear panels in a clear panel, and then you deal with the seam lines. And I'm really looking forward to doing this because I've got a feeling there's a bit of variation in height here, and I want to sort of see what I can do to sort it out. And then here we have the beautiful decal sheet and all the instructions. So we'll get all that out of the way over there. Okay, goodbye. And then here we have the beautiful decal sheet. Notice, you see, this is when you get a professional company. They have the sticky side facing the back of the decal sheet. Some companies have it so when you pull the decal sheet out, it gets stuck on the front. Nope, they've thought of that. So at worst, it's going to get stuck to the instructions. And then we've got in there, we've got window masks. I don't need to get them out to show you. You all know what window masks look like. One thing I did notice with this aircraft, if you're looking around, have a look at the options you've got, because looking around, the Poseidons don't appear to have the little windows, these little windows above here, little windows above the cockpit. But some of these do, some do and some don't. So make sure you check references for the actual aircraft you're building. As we've got it out, let's have a look at this decal sheet, and you can see that's like a 15 pound decal sheet on its own, isn't it? So we've got drop bears, we've got Roto 4 Hellbirds, we've got some sort of dragon there. Ijedler, there's going to be some Turkish on here, 100 years. So very nice, beautiful logo there. Got the fuel refilling, we've got decals for the window frames, which is nice. All the door surrounds, all the walkways on the wings, which we'll probably do with paint. And then all the serial numbers. And then we've got the Turk Hava Kuvvetleri. I've probably just slaughtered that. And then Royal Australian Air Force. I know I haven't slaughtered that. Royal Australian Air Force, Chief. However it goes. And then we've got lots and lots of stencils, which is very nice. So yeah, as you can see, things are just getting better and better and better with Big Plains kits. So very, very nice to see. I'm going to put these away so they don't get damaged, because that is one beautiful decal sheet. Is that going to go in? Yes it is. It's going to go in without getting stuck. Yes it is. There we go. It's caught on something. It's weird. Oh well, we'll look at that after. Right, so what have we got here? We've got our instructions. Let's have a look at these. I'm going to turn the light back off. So what have we got here? We've got some description about the aircraft. We've got cruising speed, cruise 8 to 12 persons. We've got some sizes in there and everything. All our colour call outs here. They're in Mr. Hobby and in Vallejo. They're in model, are they model air colours or are they model whatever? They're Vallejo colours. And you can see we've got all the different colour call outs, and we've also got FS numbers where required. Okay, so 36495, 36270, 36118, 34227. Very, very common colours. So here we've got our sprue call outs. You can see we've got all the major parts there, wings, fuselage, and then we've got little bits and pieces here for the undercarriage bays. We've got our engine sprue there, which is pretty generic, I think. And then we've got our wheel bay there, which again is generic. Engine sprue, generic. These two sprues here, which are generic. And then we've got our wings. Wing, is that lower sections? Yeah, that's lower sections, that's upper. And then we've got some cockpit detail, undercarriage details and everything there. I think it's all pretty much generic across all the kits. There's shadowed out here, do not use. I can't see anything shadowed out, so looking good. And then here we've got our tail planes, we've got some resin engine parts. Now we've got the resin seat showing. We've got another resin part there, whatever that may be. More tailplane parts, well that's the fin, sorry. And we should have some pieces here. This is going to be specific to the wedge tail, so we're going to cut the front of the tail off and add that piece there. And then we've got the actual great big radar on the top. We've got all the antenna there. Very nice, and that beautiful decal sheet, and then we've got a photo etch here, which will all be in that lovely little white box. So going on with assembly, they're telling us to crack straight on with the cockpit. So get all the cockpit together. You can see in here an improvement they've made. We've lost the plastic blocks. Let me just zoom you in actually a bit, because it's quite a small little manual, isn't it? There we go. We've lost all the plastic blocks that support the seats, and now we're having all the actual framework in the seats, and then we've got the actual tracks going onto the floor, so you can actually see the seats being slid in and back. You could actually fit the seats back if you want to, so they slide back and over so the pilots can squeeze through. I've got the rear bulkhead there with a fire extinguisher, control columns and everything going in there, and then we're building up the nose gear bay, and then we've got the main gear bay parts going together there. Got the steering mechanism for the nose gear, main gear here, nose gear there. It's still got work to do in the cockpit, painting all the top light grey and everything, and then building up the main gear bay. Got some lovely bit of painting to do there, with that bar going across with the red. It's almost like a candy stick, a candy cane. Bringing the blower halves together, adding in that bulkhead, and then bringing the main undercarriage bay top in. And then if you're going to have the wheels closed with wheels up position, you're going to fit this shield here, which is like a guard, which is like a brush to keep it sealed. And then you're going to put your wheels in. Remember, this aircraft doesn't have covers on the wheels. You can see the wheels exposed. So, in fact, I can tell you a story about them one day. In fact, I might even tell you the story at the end of this video. If I forget, remind me and I'll tell you on another video. But quite a story it is. And then here it's asking us, I've got the same problem here, guys, I can't see anything. We've got a tiny little part going in here, and a tiny little part going in there. I think they're telling us to paint it C. So that's going, I can't even see where that's going. It's something you need to work out. Okay, it's into there. It's going into there, okay. Strange. And then we got the rear halves coming together, so this is good. Unlike the Poseidon, the rear fuselage halves don't have a bottom to them, they have the bomb bay down there, and so this one has a complete pair of fuselage halves, which is good. I've also got coming from Airgraphic a resin plug. I've actually made a video already, guys, that shows you how to get these fuselage halves together and everything with the Poseidon, but I'm not putting that out yet. But Airgraphic have made a resin plug, so you can put the fuselage together just like they say in the instructions, glue this plug in there and then slot the rear end on. And I can tell you from experience of what I've already done with the Poseidon, having a little play with it, I can tell you that basically the fit of these parts going together and how the panel lines align and everything is absolutely superb. It really is. And I'm not just saying that because I want to be friendly with Alexei. I'm saying it because it's the truth. If it wasn't the truth, I wouldn't say it, you know that. We've got our wings going together here with the funny wing tips there. They look like big bags or something on the end of the wings, what are they? Let's have a look. Yeah, they look like black bladders or something, don't they? I don't know what they are, so we'll have to look into that. And then we've got all our fairings going on for our flaps and everything. I wonder if somebody's going to do flaps for this. It'd be nice to have it with the flaps down, wouldn't it? I think actually somebody does, we shall see. And they'll be applicable to all the aircraft in this range. So here we've got some pieces going in here. We've got some photo etches. No, that's plastic parts, and then there's photo etch as well going in. So you can see they're showing you how that goes together. A lot of this, I kind of find myself looking at this and it's not very obvious. But when you actually look at the plastic parts, or the photo etch parts, whatever the case may be, it becomes very obvious. It's just difficult to visualise what it is they're trying to show you until you actually look at the parts, and then it's like, boom, yeah, there it is. So I think Alexei must be a modeller himself, because I think this kit is designed by a modeller, I've got to be honest. Telling us here to cut the front of the tail fin off, and then add this. As with other kits, you know, short run type kits, there's no sort of scribe line to work to, there's no dimensions or anything, you just got to do it yourself, but I'll show you when we get there. Bringing the engines together, it's very nice. Something I have learned from watching Uger's channel. What he does, this piece here on the top, this resin piece, he cuts that lump off the top, and then you're able to assemble all of this, and then assemble the engine, and then drop that in afterwards. And that gives you can work around this seam and everything then, and you can build this up and then just plop it in afterwards. So very good suggestion, that one, thank you, Uger. We've got some photo etch fins going here on the engines. We've all been on 737s and seen those fins on there. Landing lights going in here, and then we've got these clear parts going in here. Now, I would seriously recommend fitting those way back here, even way back, you know, before that, when you've actually got the fuselage in your hands. Fit them so you can sand and blend and everything even before you fit this wing lower section. Then you'll have full movement of your sanded sticks. That would be my suggestion. Got the nose and the windscreen going on there. That's those little windows I was talking about. You've got those little tiny windows there above the main cockpit windows. I think they're called eyebrows. Some have them, some don't. It seems like all the Poseidons don't have them, but it seems like some of these do. Obviously, whatever Air Force they're going to, they can specify. And then we're adding the engines and the landing light on that side. And then we've got all these little vortex generators going on here. We've got the photo etch doors. We've got a piece of photo etch going in there, not sure what that is. We've got all little pitot tubes, windscreen wipers, more vortex generators, more little bits going on here. Lots and lots of tiny details. And then we've got the actual main big radar thing itself going on. And then we've got this, that's going to be going underneath, I think. And then we've got all these tiny antennae. Do your research, find out the positions of them all, because the positions aren't marked out on the kit. You need to find out, and I would suggest drilling them all and putting a little wire pin in them and drill a hole in the fuselage, and that way they won't just get knocked off easily. But something you want to do before final painting. So get all your priming done and everything first, and then drop them in. Lots more antenna going on the bottom here. You can see there's going to be like a bloody porcupine, this thing. And that you might want to do your deckling first before you put them on. And then we've got these fins going in here. And then we've got the gear doors going in here. So if you want to have the gear up, you'll have them shut, or you can have the gear out and have them open. And if you're having the main gear shut, you've already dealt with that way back in the instructions. 53 steps, is it really that many? Bloody hell. And then here we've got a colour call out. So you can see here we've got the Royal Australian Air Force. Lots and lots of stencils going in, lots of colour call outs. Very, very nice indeed. There you go. And then we've got the underside and top side. And then here we've got 215, 217, 219, 215. We've got all the different nose arts in there. We have the Turkish version, which again we have lots and lots of little stencils going on. The door frame here is different, obviously. There's probably going to be a lot of stuff in a language that I don't understand. Don't know why they're showing 4 engines there. That's very strange. Yeah, they're doing it there as well. Very strange. I'm guessing we get a decal to go on there. Is that what they're saying? There's that little spiral on the front of the engine, isn't there? Is that what they're saying here? 45 and 46. Oh, that's great. They don't follow. Yeah, you've got 36, 65, 52, 35. They don't follow like 1, 2, 3, 4 like the cartograph ones do. But yeah, I can't see which is 45. But it would have been nice if they gave us that as a decal. That would have been a really good little, nice little touch, wouldn't it? It'll probably be quite difficult to see on here because it's because it'll be white. Anyway, yeah, but as I say, all the way through these instructions you look at stuff and you think, I wonder why they've shown us that, and then when you actually start to look at the model it all becomes clear. And then here we've got the upper and the lower versions as well. Just looking there, yeah, I just wondered if this one, they both have the black on the front of the radar. I'm guessing they're sort of radar, but I'll have to look up, and there might even be a book about this. But it's certainly a very attractive little plane. It's much shorter than the Poseidon. But, there we go, there's the Poseidon there. So you can see how much shorter this is. I believe Alexia is sending me this. Okay, that's a 1/72nd scale Bayraktar. That's the drone that the Ukrainians use. So that'll be nice, and I think there's 2 in the box, so I may even build one and give one away. We shall see. And I believe he's sending me his brand new SAS 7, not SAS Special Air Service. Is it Swedish? I'm not sure what country is SAS, but the 737 airliner. Anyway, So there we go, very, very nice indeed. Let's have a look at some plastic. So first of all, we have these main fuselage halves. So we can see here, these are looking lovely. Again, we have some beautiful moulding. It's quite thick. It's a lovely plastic to work with, and it has very, very light. Not light there, or is it better without? I think it's better without, isn't it? Right, so it has very, very beautifully engraved panel lines. That's what I did last time, wouldn't I? I put the light on the side so we can get some shadows going on. There we go. Now you can see all the panel detail on there. Very nice indeed. You can see again we've got this recessed area here for the windows to go in. I'm just looking on here. You obviously have to cut them to length, or is it that that one goes on there and that finishes there and then the next one comes along? Okay, yeah, so it's divided in half, so there's two lengths. So you'll put your fuselage together and then put the windows in. Right, or unless you want to cut it and then fit it afterwards, you could fit that one on, have it sticking out and then score it and snap it off. And then deal with the seam afterwards when you add the rear fuselage, but it's up to you. As with the Poseidon, you can see here we've got little areas of little steps and stuff. You need to make sure that's all cleaned off. It's like a short run kit, but better. I personally think this is probably better quality than Rodin, for example. It's certainly along the sort of lines of Fly model, but there's a lot more injection plastic in here, and the moulding is a bit crisper, I think. I mean, you can see on here how crisp all this panel line detail is here. Fortunately, that's got a bit of a scratch on it, but that's nothing. It's just, I can't even feel it. It's just visual. You can see the eyebrow there over the door moulded in. As I say, these windows are actually oversized, and then when you put these clear windows over the top, just quickly show you, I'll look at the clear sprue at the same time. When you put these clear windows over the top, you can see that basically you need to make sure you get these right, because there's a door there as well, like an emergency exit. But you can see that the actual window is smaller than the aperture behind. So when you look through the window, even though these are going to be painted over, when you look through the window, you won't see a great big thick wall of plastic. So it's very thoughtfully done, very cleverly done. I would suggest painting all of this light grey or dark grey or something, and go from there. Right. Bloody cold callers trying to sell us two today. It's getting ridiculous. So so basically, yeah, those windows are going to go in there, and that's going to be how it's all going to look. You can see the panel lines line up perfectly. It's really, really good. Very well engineered, these kits. As far as panel lines go, they are absolutely amazing. Right, so that's that. But yeah, absolutely beautiful. As I said, I've already made a video on the Poseidon, and I'm showing how to fit the fuselage halves together like this, and then end up with two fuselage halves that go together, rather than building two fuselage halves and then putting the back end on. But as I say, Airgraphic are sending me a plug, so I will show you how it goes with that, and then we'll see which is best. I don't know, but the main thing is, for me, is when you're actually assembling these, you need to make sure that this joint here, this line here, is perfect. On the Poseidon, this is a panel line. On here, it's going to become a panel line. But I can tell you now, as a model with some experience, I can tell you, I would rather deal with a 0.5 millimeter gap here, okay, or a 0.5 millimeter step there, than deal with a panel line which is just off and try and straighten it out. Also, you need to make sure you're getting your fuselage halves perfect like that. So, although Uger does it on his channel, he actually builds it, sands the front off, glues it on, it's absolutely fine. So we'll see. We'll do some dummy builds when I receive those resin plugs, and we'll see how it goes, and then you can decide how you want to do it. But I must admit, the Poseidon review is probably my third most popular review I've ever done. When I say most popular, number of hits within the first couple of days, it's probably the third most popular I've ever done. It's absolutely incredible. So so yeah, and a lot of you commented on there that you actually bought that kit, and when you got it, you sort of feel a little bit daunted by it because it's not like a Tamiya kit, and it's not like a Tamiya kit, but I can assure you it's going to go together beautifully. We've got our landing lights there. Again, this is the kind of thing a modeler does, not someone like Hobby Boss. They've actually got this landing light here molded into a complete panel. So when you glue this in, you're not getting glue around the landing light, you're gluing it a mile away from the landing light, and you're just going to be seeing that panel showing through. So it's very, very thoughtful stuff, very, very beautifully done. Now you might be wondering about scratching these windows. I'm not really too worried about it, because basically, as I say, what we'll do is we'll put them that way and then they won't get scratched, put them back to back. As I say, they're all, I'm not sure, please tell me in the comments below, are these windows, you can see here, you can see there's no windows there, we've got 4 windows in the middle and all the rest are blanked off. Are they actually painted glass, or are they sheets of metal? What are they? Because you can still see the window there when you look at photographs of the real thing. I mean, you'll be able to see it on here. You can see the outline of the window is there, but there's no actual window there. So have they replaced the glass with sheets of metal or some other material? Please let me know in the comments below. So we've got bagged up sprues here, so we'll look at those in a minute. Look at the unbagged ones first. So this is the engine sprue, and this is generic across pretty much all of them. You can see some people have said in their reviews that the parts aren't numbered. Well, they are. You can see them here numbered. Some parts aren't, but a lot are. So we've got the engine parts here. So that's the back end of the bypass fan, and then here you've got your turbine blades in there, and then you'll have your resin jet coming out there and the resin cover going over the top. And there's your intake. You can see it's properly oval, like a 737 is. So yeah, all very nice indeed. And we've got our pylons there. You can see the engines are right up as high as they can go. The pylons almost coming above the top of the wing surface because the engine's so big compared to the old TF33s that the 737 used to have. But yeah, beautiful. And then here we have our radar here. So we've got recessed rivet detail on there. We've got the front end. We've got our nose section there. So maybe this has got a different nose to the ordinary model. Remind me, we'll have a look in there and see if we find a different nose in here. There's our wingtips there with those what look like bladders. I'm not sure what they are. I'll do some research. Then we've got that little lookout bit there. Beautiful. And then there's the forward end of our tail, of our fin. And as I say, that's going to have to be cut. We've got 2 pins there to help it all align. But we're going to have to cut that and then sand and fill in everything, or sand and blend. Very nice. And then here is the top. In fact, I'm going to leave that sprue up there in case we find another nose, and then we'll see the difference. And then here's the top end of that radar. No sink marks. Notice as well, no ejector pin marks. We've got all these little antennae here, beautifully done. Nothing broken off the sprue. No short shots. No sink marks. Nothing. There may be some shrink marks here. No, there probably won't, because on the Poseidon there's steps in here, and on this one there isn't. So we shall see. But very, very nice. We've got those fins there on the bottom. So yeah, lovely. Right, we'll get onto our bagged parts. All resealable bags, which is nice. So in here we have, when you're taking your sprues out, when you're taking the sprues out of the bag, guys, always take them out together. Don't try and take one at a time, because that's when you start breaking parts. Right, so we've got an upper wing here. Again, beautifully moulded, nicely protected, thoughtfully done on the sprues. Beautifully done. Again, no ejector pin marks whatsoever. So if they can do it, why can't everyone else? And then here we have our lower wing section. So that's going to slot into there like that. And then the lower wing piece that goes underneath the fuselage will form the inner area. Very nice indeed. Again, you can see on here we've got all the flap detail. There's a sink mark there. That's the first one I've seen. Yeah, there's a sink mark there. Tiny sink mark there because of that little lump underneath. So that's nothing to fill. Super glue in there, sand over, will be absolutely fine. You can see everything is engraved. We've got all our flaps marked out, all the air brakes and everything all marked out. They all come up. So yeah. I've got a feeling there's a company called Lico, something like that. I've got a feeling they have done a flap set for it. So here we have our fin. Now this is the standard 737 fin, so we may have to cut the top off and add an upper part, and we may have to, well I know we've got to cut the front off, because this is, as I say, this is a wedge tail. So what they've done, so that's the top there, so they've shortened the front of the fin. So what you're going to do, you've got these two panel lines here, you can see these two panel lines here, we've got those two panel lines on there, so we can line those up like that, and then mark it, scribe, and cut. In fact, cut this side of the line and then sand to fit. Do one side at a time, get one side all glued together, and then cut and sand the other side to suit. But you can see they've removed this wedge from the tail. They've removed that bit there from the tail to allow this great big radar to fit. So there we go. And then here we have our tail planes. By the way, these little shafts here, they're designed to go into the tail planes in here, and you fit the tail planes with them. So, and I think you also do the same with the fin, I think. So yeah, they're going to be nice and strong. I'd suggest replacing those. I'll just measure them for you now. So if you do want to get one of these, you can check you've got the correct rod. If not, you can order it. They are, yeah, they're basically 2mm. They're 2mm. So get yourself some 2mm rod. Brass, in 2mm brass will be strong enough. If you get brass, you can use it for other projects then. Or if you get steel, you get steel, whatever. But get some metal rods, you could perhaps slide them right through the fuselage then and have your tailplane slotted on. Get them nice and strong. Here we got the little winglets for the 737 passenger liner. Gear doors here. Little angle pieces, not sure what they are. There's our internal gear bay. And then we've got our brakes. There's brushes there that go around the wheels. Undercarriage legs supports, and then some control wheels there. That's that rod that goes across the back. A little bit flashy on here, but nothing much. Again, no ejector pin marks whatsoever, so really nice touch there. So that's all cool. That wasn't in there, was it? And then this bag here is our final bag. We have in here our final sprues. So here you can see we've got fairings for the flap actuators, bits and pieces for the undercarriage bay, more fairings there, and this is the lower, this is underneath your belly. This is going to go, is that the right side? Yes. That's basically going to sit in there like that, underneath. Okay, so that's how that's going to go, and then your wings are going to sit on top of there. So I don't think it needs any strength, but if you want to add some strength, it should be easy to do. And there you go. You've got the, is that an APU exit there, I'm guessing? No, the APU will be at the back, won't it? So that's that. And then basically we've got a mirror sprue the other side. So that's that. And then here we have, there's the nose. So here we have our wheels and tyres. ResKit actually do some of these, but they're out of stock in the UK at the moment. Air Graphic, I believe, are going to send me a set of theirs. I haven't seen them yet. They don't have them pictured on their website. But when they come, we'll see what they look like. I'm also getting the Bombay for the Poseidon, so that'll look good. So there's the plastic tailpiece there. And there's the nose. Now this nose, yeah, this nose has a cutout in the top, so obviously we're going to have something in front of the windscreen, some forward-looking infrared or something. So that's the standard kit nose. So we'll have a spare for the Poseidon there, won't we? So that can go away now, because I was wondering what that was for. And then we've got some more wingtips there, I think, by the look of it. Then we've got our wheels. We do actually have tyre lettering on the wheels. They're very nicely done. You've got your outer wheels there with these spoilers on. Again, remind me to tell you that story, because obviously when the wheels go up there's no doors. But anyway, there we go. Engine sprue. So here's our engine parts, and very, very nice indeed. Very flat bottoms on them. You can see they're rounder on the top. I can't believe these things never hit the ground. You come in at 10 degree angle, you probably smack the engine. Engine intakes there, so we get those done in a nice shiny chrome. And then there's the back of the pylons there by the look of it. And then some little tiny detail parts. There's some vents there going to go in the sides of the engines here. Very nice. And then some more tiny little antenna and things there. But you can see again the detail. The engraved detail there from the engine is beautiful. Really, really nice. And then here finally, plastic wise, we have the sprue here, which is generic. That's our cockpit floor, nose wheel. That's our front undercarriage bay, front undercarriage leg with support. We have some seat parts which we don't need because we've got resin seats. We have instrument panel there. So yeah, very nice indeed. More control column wheels. We had those earlier on another sprue, so I'm not sure why we've got different ones. There's the actual fairing going over the instrument panel. There's a decal for there's two decals actually for the instrument panel. There's a decal for the centre console, and they even give you an overhead console as well, which is a nice touch. So yeah, very nice indeed. But again, this is generic. You've seen all this before in the Poseidon kit. So finally, in this little box here, we have, well, that fell out, did it? We have our clear windscreen. We'll have a look at that in a second. We have some beautiful seats. We have another tiny little photo etch panel. We have our beautiful resin engine parts. We have some little 3D printed bits there. We've got some more 3D printed bits here. Looks like more antenna. And then some more 3D printed, yeah, more 3D printed resin there. So this is cast resin. So we'll push all that aside. So this is going to be our cast resin. And beautifully cast. Look at that dust out of there. Go away. Please go away. Right, there we go. So there's our beautiful engine intakes. You can see how gorgeous they are. Absolutely beautiful. And if you want to get one of these and you have the Heller / AMT / whoever else released it, the KC135, these engines were actually, I said in my last video, these were actually CFM 56-3s. They're actually CFM 56-7s, I was wrong. These intakes are 61-inch diameter. Now the Dash 2 engine, which is fitted to the 135 and the E3, so if you've got the Airfix E3 Century or the Heller one, they're 68 inches. Now unfortunately on the AMT kit, they've got the engine slightly too small, and these are a perfect match. So if you have your own resin moulding capabilities, you can actually have these beautiful intakes on your KC135. So, or any of the derivatives that use the CFM 56 engine. Unfortunately, the United States Air Force didn't use CFM 56s on their AWACS aircraft. They only used the old JT9D, was it, whatever. So we've got the exhaust here, the exhaust there for the back end of the engine, and then we've got these little cones here which go on. There's lots of rivet detail and stuff on here. It's very, very nice indeed. You can see that beautiful little thin fine edge which is so gorgeously cast. So they are stunning and gorgeous and beautiful and lovely. Here we have our beautiful, come on open, thank you. Here we have our beautiful windscreen, which will be, I know from my last model, it's going to be absolutely crystal clear. You can see on there, if I put that on top of there, you can see the writing through there. You're going to see all that detail in your cockpit. It's lovely, isn't it? So, and there you can see those little eyebrow windows on the top. I'm just going to have a feel. Yeah, there's a tiny little step there, so you want to fill that, cover this with oil or masking tape or something, get some of the black super glue in there and sand that out and get rid of them. But as I say, check your references, because if you're doing an E7 wedge tail like this one is, some of them have those windows. So, and it doesn't seem like it's by country either, it seems by order. So I think I saw a couple of Australian ones did and a couple of Australian ones didn't, so bear that in mind. Photo etch, this is the generic photo etch set. Although it says E7A on here, I think it's pretty generic. So windscreen wipers, pitot tubes, door handles. There's our vortex generators there. We've got some more. Is that vortex generators or antenna or something? But you can see lots and lots of beautifully etched parts. And doesn't have that plastic sheet over the top either. So that's very nice. And then these here, I know they look like Russian harnesses. They're the actual frames that go on the floor. So you're going to glue them straight to the floor, and then your seats are going to glue on top of them. So make sure they're really well fixed down. You don't want your seats coming away after the model's built. So here we have some resin panels. I didn't notice what these were for on the instructions, but they're obviously bulges for something or other. Are they for the engines perhaps? I'm not sure, because the engines have bulges. I'm sure they all have bulges though. They could be, because the engines don't seem to have bulges here. So we shall see. But they are basically beautifully 3D printed little bulges. So you're going to get those glued on. And then we have here, we have our 3D printed seats. Again, we have the harnesses on them. And this time, unlike on the Poseidon, you just have the seat that goes into that plastic moulding. This has the complete frame. So the complete frame of the seat is going to go down. Sorry, the camera's focused on the frame. The complete seat is going to go down onto that photo etch frame I just showed you. And here we have, this looks like more antenna. So this model is basically an airplane attached to a load of antenna. So there we go, beautifully done. These are probably replacing plastic parts, because as I say, it looks like Alexei just keeps moving one step forward. And then here we have another bag of 3D printed parts. I think they're 3D printed, or some cast. Nope, they're all 3D printed. Obviously he's invested in a 3D printer, he likes playing with it. So that there that's going to go in the back end, I think. That's like a radar looking thing or something. Kind of looks like a cylinder, doesn't it, of some sort. There we go, that's that there. It's 3D printed, they're looking very, very nice. Almost looks like you could put a pair of glasses on it and you'd have a face, wouldn't they? Here's our APU at the back, the APU exhaust. So that's going to go on as well. I'm guessing that's going to be, this is different to the one in the Poseidon as well. So maybe that's going to fit onto there. I don't remember from the instructions. And then here, this is the little APU exhaust turbine fan. Oops. I keep forgetting I've got the camera zoomed in. There's our little turbine fan there, that's going to go inside there. So let's just have a very quick look at the instructions at the arse end. Okay, so we've got the APU going on there that has that bulge coming out of the top, and then this piece is going to fit underneath. So yeah, we can see it there, look. That's dropping down underneath. The other thing I've noticed in these kits, there's no mention of nose weight, so be very careful with that. I would suggest, once you've got the fuselage done, sort of do a dummy build with tape and everything, get the engines just sitting on top of the wings, get your tailplanes and fin and everything on just to check. Because there's nothing worse than finishing a model and finding out it's a tail sitter, because sometimes you can get them where they're just balanced, you just touch the tail, don't they go over. So yeah, with all this resin on the back and everything, it might be a little bit heavier, but although it doesn't really weigh much, does it? So there we go, guys. Now if you want to hear a little story, I'll tell you a little story now that's 737 related. And basically what we'll do is we'll have a look through the instructions while I'm talking. I won't mention anything in here, I'm just going to turn the pages while I'm talking. So back in about 2003, I think it was 2005 maybe, my girlfriend Sue and I flew from Cardiff Airport to Crete on Aegean Airways, and it was a very late flight. It was quite a late flight, but it got delayed, and we actually went out, I think it was like midnight or something, which I didn't think you could fly out that late, but anyway. When we took off, at the time I worked for Rolls-Royce, and I always took my Rolls-Royce pass with me as a form of identification. And because I thought, wherever you go in the world, you show somebody something Rolls-Royce and they're just going to be like, yeah, okay. You know, it's a world-renowned, it's just a symbol of quality, isn't it? So basically, I was on this flight, flying out of Cardiff, and the aircraft took off, and there was a massive bang as the aircraft took off. And I think it was just after the Concorde incident that happened in France, so that might give you an idea what year it was. Anyway, grabbed my girlfriend's hand and said, "Love you, Sue." She's like, "What are you on about, you idiot?" You know, I just wanted to say that. I didn't want to scare anybody, I didn't want to scare her, I didn't want to say anything. And it was clear to me that what had happened is a tyre had exploded from the main landing gear and hit the wing, or something on the runway had hit the wing. Anyway, I pressed the little bong thing after we'd taken off and levelled out, and the stewardess came along, and I said to her, and it was, as it turned out, and you'll see in a minute, it was very lucky that the flight was delayed and was as late as it was. You'll see why in a minute. So basically I said to the stewardess, I said, I think something's happened. I said it very, very quietly. I didn't want to scare anyone. And she got me out in a seat. She said, come and tell me. So she went and stood down by the kitchen at the front. And basically I told her what I'd heard and what I thought might have happened. So she said, hang on there a second. And she went into the pilot's, into the cockpit. The pilot's room, I was going to say, into the cockpit. She came back out in the door. She ushered me in. Oh, blimey! I'd showed her my Rolls Royce pass to say I'm an engineer. I know what I'm talking about, sort of thing. So took her. She took me into the pilot's into the cockpit and spoke to the captain and showed him my Rolls Royce pass. I said, I know what I'm talking about. And he said, did you notice which side? I said, I think it was port side, but you know how these things are. You know the sound travels. I said, I think it was port side. I was sat on the port side. I certainly felt it. I know that. Nobody else seemed to take any notice. There was this massive bang. Anyway, the flight went on, and that was it. And obviously there was no issue until we came to land. I could not believe my ears when the cockpit came. The tannoy opened up, and the captain came on, and he said, "Ladies and gentlemen, I'm afraid there has been a report of some debris found on the runway at Cardiff, and we are going to have to lower our undercarriage and do a low pass over the control tower in Crete so they can inspect our undercarriage. Any further information, I will let you know." I thought, blimey, I can't believe he's saying that. You know, I couldn't believe it. Anyway, we did the low pass over the tower, which was great. And this is what I was saying, if the plane had taken off at its proper time, it probably would have still been dark when we got to Crete. But as it was early in the morning, it was summer, so obviously it got light very early. Very luckily, it was daylight. So they were able to do a low pass, quite slow, over the tower. It was like being at a bloody air show. It was fantastic. Anyway, much to my dismay, I couldn't believe the captain came back on the tannoy and said, "Ladies and gentlemen, following an inspection from the tower at Crete Airport," whatever it's called, I can't remember now, "they have confirmed that we have one tyre blown out on our main undercarriage gear. So it's not to worry, we still have another tyre on that undercarriage. So we are going to have a very, very gentle landing. The stewardesses will be along to see you now. Please make sure that you have read your health and safety cards. And if we do have any issues upon landing, you need to adopt the brace position. There is no risk to any life at this current moment." So I thought, bloody hell, I couldn't believe my ears. I'd have just thought they'd have said nothing. So anyway, everybody got off the steps. There was no sort of ramp or anything. It was just getting off at steps at the airport. And the pilot and the captain were there, and I sort of shook their hand and they said thank you very much and got off the plane and everything. And as we went down the steps, I looked back and oh my God, the tyre was like a bloody Catherine wheel. It was absolutely shredded. And it turned out, I don't know how I found out, it must have been through a news report or something, or some report online, but it was exactly the same as what happened to Concorde. There was a piece of metal on the runway and we hit it with one tyre, luckily not both, and it completely shredded the tyre. So so that was that, and that was my little sort of claim to fame, because if I hadn't have said anything, they probably would never have known, come in, done a normal landing, and God only knows what would have happened. So and thinking about it now, and I've only just thought of this, I can't believe they don't have some sort of tyre pressure monitoring system. You would have thought, wouldn't you, they'd have known. Anyway, whatever. You may think it's bullshit. You may want to tell me it's bullshit. But I can assure you, every single goddamn word I've just told you is true. Absolutely 100%. So there we go. You may even be able to look it up online. It was Aegean Airways, and it was 2003, or it was either just before, because we went to Florida in 2004. It was either before or after we went to Florida, and it was after the Concorde escapade. So that was what made me worry. That was what scared me. Anyway, so that's been a review of this beautiful BBK E7 AEW and C, whatever that is. What's that? Does it tell us on here? It's the United Kingdom's going to have it designated AEW1. In April 2022, the United States Air Force announced the E7 will be replacing the E3 beginning 2027. Oh, we're going to lose the bloody AWACS to this. No! We need AWACS. They're beautiful. Mind you, they are about 50, 60 years old now, aren't they? So, or even more, actually. But anyway, there we go. So, I'm going to be starting this very, very soon. As soon as we finish the Gannet, I'm going to make a crack on this. In fact, the Gannet is practically done. So, and at the moment, it's really too hot to do any painting or anything, and weathering and all that. It's just ridiculous. So I may crack on with this just before I finish the Gannet. But the Gannet is there to my left in a box. Basically, everything is painted. It's just final assembly now, ready to go. So, there you go. Thank you for watching. I will see you all very soon. And if you want to get yourself one of these, as I say, Hannets don't have it in stock yet. You could get it direct from BPK, you get a great price. You could get it from PM Model Store in Ukraine, again get a great price. Or you can get it from Jadlam. They had a pretty good price on it. I paid £94 I think for this, and I had some points as well, so that was good. And now because I've bought this as £94, I've now got more points, so that's the way they do it. They keep you going back. And the packaging wasn't that bad, to be fair. It was wrapped in a cardboard sleeve and put in a bag, so it wasn't that bad. It's come to me. I mean, it's perfect. You can see even all the corners of the box are absolutely perfect. So I'm forever knocking Jadlam on the packaging, but on this occasion, it's been perfect. Okay, so there you go. Thank you for watching, guys. I will see you all soon. Any questions, any comments, any advice, please pop it down in the comments below. Bye for now.